Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, which is brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. I'm your host, Patty Long, and you can find me at MSNit for Life, and I spell that MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE, and I'm on Twitter, y'all. I'm kind of, sort of, a little bit on Facebook, but not really. So, if you find me through someone on Facebook and I don't respond, it's not me ignoring you. It's just that I don't really use Facebook. So, but I know my name is attached to some stuff, and so, you know, y'all would stumble across it. So I don't want anybody to ever think they're being ignored, because they're not. I actually love hearing from people. There's a girl that I've been talking to on Twitter, and Twitter has direct messages just like Facebook has Messenger. And I am on the Messenger part of it, but I don't really accept new friend requests, and if you don't have a friend request, well, you know how Messenger works, guys. So anyways, but I've been talking to this girl on here, and she's really, really sweet. Her name is Dawn, you know, and I think sometimes we feel very alone, and it's not just when we're brand new dealing with MS or whatever other crazy crap we got, but also just, you know, with the and my thoughts are gone. See, this is the problem I'm dealing with right now. I can't even remember my thoughts in the middle of my thought, which is why I didn't have a show last week. You know, for me, you know, and I can talk, you know, I can tell stories all darn day usually, but last week, it's like my head just went poof and it was gone, and I had no thoughts. It was just this total empty-headed thing, and it was very odd, and I think it is some of this seizure-like, which is all I can say right now, because my records from the EEG that I had done are lost. And you know, this is why I've already got it set in place. Just take me to the ER in Atlanta, to Piedmont Hospital, where they know what they're doing, where they talk to each other, and where they don't lose your test or your records of that test or your results of that test or any of that kind of thing. You know, I mean, this is pitiful. And one hospital has bought the other one, so that's part of it, because these people got bought out, and I'm sure that's got something to do with everything, because, you know, corporate, but I was actually told that the doctor's number, his office number, that doctor who was given the images and was going to read the test and write the report, his phone number at that office was confidential information. Really? Why in the world would a doctor's office number be confidential? This makes no sense. And it's not, it's it's not good because it's now been, you know, nearly 2 weeks, and it will have been more than 2 weeks by the time you hear this, since I've had this test done. And it's what is needed to say exactly what's going on, and to say that it is from the surgery to remove the tumor, or whether it is from the my MS, because that is also a possibility. Who knows? And if there's different types of seizures, which I know there are, then there are probably different types of medicines that would be recommended to prevent them, because this has been more awful than the physical stuff that I've encountered. And I have missing days anyways, but completely empty-headed, thoughtless, I'm back to zombie land, you know. And I've had lots of days with that popping in and taking a role in my day. But I wasn't going to talk about that because I don't really have any answers yet. But I was talking about being all alone, and this great new friend of mine, her name is Dawn. She goes by at Gumba1, you know, like the Gumba dolls that you can just bend and twist. Well, I don't know if it's like those or not. I don't know if that's where it comes from or not, but I remember those. Or were those Gumby? But it's Gumba 1. And she's really, really sweet. And, you know, she reached out to me. And one of the things that I love is when people reach out to me, because I can help people one-on-one that way with whatever struggle they're going through. Because, as you know, sometimes you feel like you're all alone and that you don't know what to do, because, you know, you don't know anybody that's gone through this stuff. And I tell you what, I always tease that there's 9, and I don't know these facts. Okay, these are not facts. It's just teasing, guys. I always teased that there are 99 symptoms of MS, and I've had 98 of them in one fashion or another. Well, now I've had 99, but I'm still just teasing. I'm sure there are lots of things that I have not experienced, and I love it. It has made me feel so much better to talk to our very own most wonderful friend who started this network, Erica Richardson. And, you know, she knows more than I do about this disease and about all the aspects, and she knows the fancy terms and can say them. So I'm really impressed, because I know a lot of fancy terms, but I cannot say the fancy terms, and the fancy terms just make it sound more scary, if you ask me. And we don't want that anxiety. And so whether it's the anxiety from having something going on that you don't understand, or whether it's that feeling that, you know, you're all alone out there with this, it's very comforting when you meet somebody and talk to somebody who actually has experienced this, or something so similar that it's might as well be the same, you know. And it's not a contest out there, guys. And I've got this other friend on here, and I'm trying to find his name because I really need to have his name. And I just can't think of it, you know. It's Poof. And I can't think of people's names. It's just absolutely ridiculous, especially when they're people I talk to all the time, and I am so thankful for these people on Twitter who have befriended me and who reach out to me, because it's this comrade. Okay, forget it. Forget the big fancy word. It's this friendship. And so, sometimes I'll add hashtag MS friends, and sometimes my friends will add that hashtag. And I'm wanting to say it's UView38 now that was talking about. Yeah. You view it, the word you, Y-O-U, view, V-I-E-W, it, I-T, and then the number 38, and then it looks like a space, M-S. He sent me, and I don't know if it's a he or a she. To be honest with you, that's one of the things when people don't put their picture up there, you really don't know based on their profile, whether it's a guy or a girl or someone young or someone old. And I really like that anonymity. What's the word I'm looking for? But he was talking about, or this person was talking about, being paralyzed and not knowing if he'd be able to walk again, or to be able to even move his legs again, or if he was going to have to be in a wheelchair, and if he had to do it all, and the embarrassment even of it. And I sometimes make a comment back without thinking, because that thought process isn't totally there like it should be. But I had told him, I had acute attack after each other every 2 months for 2.5 years. I have been there. I have had over 70 doses, over 70, because I can't do the math, and I had some on the in-between months. But I've had over 70 doses of Solumedrol, 1 gram apiece. That's a lot of Solumedrol. That's a lot of steroids. Now, I am fortunate in the fact that I didn't have any adverse reactions to steroids. But if I had of, there are other things that you can do besides steroids to stop the inflammation and stop the attack. The only one that I can think of at this very moment, and don't ask me why I'm thinking of it, maybe because I'm seeing a pink ribbon hanging out in the woods right behind my building, but it's plasma exchange is one of them. And that's the most extreme of them, I believe, and there's others that were on the list before it. So if you have adverse reactions to steroids, whether it's weight gain or some other intolerable sort of thing, then check out, go on Google and say, Google MS medications for relapses, and you'll see that there are more than just the steroids. So in any case, I just wanted to throw that out there while I'm, like in the wind here with my thoughts getting so scrambled. But the reason why I was telling him about all of this was because I wanted him to know he was not alone. He's not the only one that went from, winning the race and doing all this stuff to nothing. I mean, I had hiked a 20-mile hike in just a week or two before, and I had been to the lake and gotten on the tube and been on the wakeboard. You know, I had a job. Hachi, quit that. I'm sorry, my dog is over here looking away, and you know how dogs are. So, and I had a job working part-time from home because part-time was really all I wanted. I wanted time to spend with my children, and you know, there was still housework and all the necessities that have to be done, and plus I was substituting while doing this other job from home. So, but the job from home, I was making $30 an hour. So, you know, I had this wonderful, wonderful life. I was a very content, happy person. And you know what? I'm still a very content, happy person. I just wish they'd find my test results. You know, who does that? What place loses tests and results? Gosh, no wonder they're getting bought out. So anyhow, you're never alone. And it was really great to connect with Erica about these seizures and my experience with them, because here is somebody else who has been through something like this, and hers may be different. And again, it's not a contest of who's worse and who's not. It's a matter of that feeling that you are not alone. And to connect with her and talk to her about it, I absolutely felt better. You know, it was a one-on-one connection, just like it was with Dawn. And that connection made me feel better when I made that connection with Erica. And I know that connection with Dawn at Gumbo 1, I know it made her feel better. And I've connected with another really wonderful person, and her name is Nicola Newmark. I hope I said that right. And she's at Newmark _N. NEWMARCH. Oh, New March. I got you. I never realized what your name meant until I tried to spell it. But she's a beautiful soul. And, you know, we have to hang on to the fact that, okay, so we have been dealt some crazy weird cards and all this. And the way to get rid of the anxieties about it, the way to get rid of the fears, the way to get rid of the loneliness is to reach out and speak to somebody who has been through it, and speak to them one-on-one. It really, really, truly helps. Even if it's not a super long conversation. You know, it really helps. But I'm kind of wordy, so, you know, my conversations are more reading. But it's the psychological need, I guess, for people to know that they're going through something that somebody else has also been through and survived through and come out fine. You know, and I already know they're going to put me back on an anti-seizure medicine. But which type, I don't know. And there's certain mechanisms of actions that I, myself, cannot take. And that's a me thing. Because their mechanisms of action cause me to go into depression. And the longer I'm on these medications, the longer that I'm on one that has this type of mechanism, like Rebif did for me, and I stayed on and stayed on and stayed on, the more depressed I will get. Now, my depression is sadness, overwhelming sadness. You know, cry at commercials kind of sadness. and anger, which was at an extreme as well. And that's a lethal kind of combination, especially down here in the South, where everybody should be lock and loading. Now, we don't have guns in my house. I don't like them. Don't come in my house, though, because if you try and break in, my dog might just go off on you, especially if you come near me. And if he doesn't, well, then I'm sure my husband or I can find a way to get a baseball bat to your head. So that's just part of the country we live in. You don't allow that, and you defend yourself. You stand up for yourself, and it's easier to stand up for yourself when you know there's somebody else there who's got your back. And I know that Erica has my back. And, I've got y'all's back. All you have to do is get in touch. And I will get back to you. And there's a long list of people who I have talked to in this fashion and have become my friends. And it is the most wonderful thing ever to know that everybody's out there. So I do encourage you to get involved. And I had one more thing to tell you guys that is something I'd love for y'all to check out. If you don't, I'm not going to be mad, but I would really love for you to check it out. On MS&MeMedia.com, there is an article I wrote. It's called The Rules I Live By. And these are the rules I've made for me over the years. And they started out on a dry erase board. And in big, huge, bold letters, and I meant for everybody to see the ugly explanations of these rules. And that was partly the way I was treated, and partly the way Rebuff was treating me with the anger and depression. So the rules had some really seriously ugly things to go with them. But at the same time, I meant every word of it. And I took pictures of my board on lots and lots of occasions. And there were times when I would leave the same thing up there on the board for weeks because I needed to get it drilled into my head. And I really seriously needed this thing drilled in my head. Especially rule number 1. Because I hung on way too long and did things that didn't benefit me, and doing things that are to your benefit, that are going to make you better and make you feel better about yourself and make you feel better as far as your stress levels, which automatically helps improve your MS. So I wrote it, and I should say I rewrote it, and I put better explanations, nice and friendly explanations, and took the anger out of my explanations. But MS&Me Media has put it on their site front and center for everyone to read, and I would absolutely love it if you read it and gave me a thumbs up if you're on Facebook, and show me some love there, guys, because I worked really hard on it, and then Erica graciously asked about it and was excited over it, and poof, it was up there before I knew it. And so it's called The Rules I've Made for Me Over the Years, and it's got If you go to the website, it's just MS&Me media.com, all one word, and you'll see the picture, and it says the rules I live by in real big letters. So give me a thumbs up for that. I would really, really appreciate it as I wait on my test results that we still haven't found yet. It's nerve-wracking, but I'm not allowed to stress over it, because stress will make my MS crazy, and if my MS is crazy and I got this going crazy, then golly, I'll be back to square one before long. And right now I'm on like square 5, where 10 was my best when I was in England. So if that was 10, I'm now at about 5. So I'm half, but you know, we have these kinds of battles all the time where we go back and forth and up and down, and as long as you continue that fight to redo and reclaim again and again and again and again and again, you get back to number 10, and you might even surpass it, because I had already surpassed my previous number 10s many times. And so I just keep it on a score of 1 to 10. It makes it easier. And whatever my best ever is, that's my number 10. But it's time for me to go, which is probably a good thing, because I'm all over the place today, guys. And I thank y'all for listening to my zaniness. I love you all. Thank you so much, though, for listening, truly, because without y'all, I wouldn't be here. You know, they would have canned me long ago. And I kind of like being here. And reach out. Don't feel like you're ever, ever alone, because you're not. And so smile big. Smile often. Laugh a lot. And most importantly, love yourself. Bye.